Hey, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to be a better goalie and stop more pucks just by eliminating these 3 mistakes that most goalies are making in the crease. One of the biggest compliments that I get from a turning pro coaching goalie or a shutout academy goalie is they tell me that now they can make their game more simple and more, they can be more calm in the crease. And really that's what I want. I don't want to make the most acrobatic goalie. I want to make the most boring goalie who's capable of making those like 4 amazing acrobatic saves each season. Preferably one in the dying seconds of Game 7 to win the Stanley Cup. But you know what I mean. The purpose is to make you be where you're supposed to be stable, be calm, beat the puck to where it's trying to get to without flipping and flopping all over. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about 3 mistakes that almost every goalie makes, how you're going to eliminate them. Let's get right into it. I'm Maria from goalietrainingpro.com. I'm an exercise physiologist. I specialize in off-ice training for goalies. Here's what I got for you. So the first thing you're going to work on is stop making those big effort movements. So you think about in, goalie practice or goalie camps or even what you do on the ice. You do a big lateral push. So maybe I'm here. I'm going to do a huge lateral push to the side, and then I need to make an equal and opposite big deceleration over here. That's a waste of energy. I'm putting too much energy on this side that then I have to decelerate because otherwise I'm going to shoot too far out of my crease. So I want the right amount of push. I'd rather have a quick, powerful push where I'm not using as much of my energy reserve. I'm also not opening up these big gaps. So I want a quick power push that I can quickly decelerate and be ready for that save. I'm not burning through all my energy. So in our off-ice training, we will work on some big power pushes because you need those too. You need those sometimes in a desperation situation. But it's like it's almost like a boxer. A boxer isn't going to come out just throwing haymaker after haymaker. They're going to spend their time, they're going to earn their money with their jabs and then use that big haymaker when they really need it. We're going to have Carson come back in and join us and just show us a couple examples of what I mean. So Carson's going to kind of demonstrate the difference that we were just talking about. So that big power push or that big, kind of roundhouse first, and then we're going to come and look at a more precise jab. So big power push. So you can see it's opening up big holes, takes more time to close it down, a lot more energy. Way you go. Good. And now just do that sort of quick power push. So you're really going to go kind of from here to there as quickly as you can. Yeah. Perfect. So you can see the difference, and one is a lot less effort, it's a lot more precise, and you need to work on finding those different grades. Okay, this is my desperation push, I got to get there. This is my push that's going to take me from my post to the top of the crease or over to the other post, and learn how to find those fine adjustments. Thing number 2, you got to stop having a weak side. You can't, the higher level you get, the more shooters figure you out. They get to know you, they know your tendencies. They know, aha, we're going to get her moving to her left, then we're going to shoot to the right because she can't come back and cover as quickly. Not talking about anyone in particular, I'm just saying for instance. but that's going to happen. So you can't have that strong side, weak side thing. We got to make it so that you can move equally well to either side. And a lot of that is built, some of it's stability, some of it could be mobility, and a lot of it is built on strength. So that's why we do so much single leg training in the gym, so that you can't hide. If I'm doing a squat with both my legs, maybe I'm using a lot more energy from this side, not as much from this side, but you can't really see that. I can kind of mask it pretty well. But if I'm going to show you a single leg squat in a second, Carson's going to come back in and help us out. I can see right away, okay, maybe his alignment isn't that great. Maybe his knee's falling in a little bit. Maybe he just doesn't have that mobility in his hip on the one side to let him move the way he needs to move. And then you can pick it apart and clean up the pattern and then really just that exercise becomes the recovery. The more he practices, the more he builds that strength, then he can push equally side to side when he's on the ice. So one of the reasons that we love using single leg exercises, and so we're just using a single leg squat to tap here, is that it gives you nowhere to hide. So if you have a stronger side and a less strong side, we'll call it, it really is going to show itself on something like this. And we start just with body weight because we're trying to figure out, is this a movement pattern, a mobility, a stability issue, or is it just a plain strength issue? So when we get Carson to do it, he thinks that his right side is not as strong as his left. So let's just see, start with your left side. Let's see what your single leg squat pattern looks like. So we're looking that he's sitting back in his hips, keeping his good knee alignment, lightly tapping the box and coming back up. You can see he's not rocking forward in his torso to come back up. It looks really, really nice. Let's see what the right side looks like now. So yeah, maybe he's having a little more trouble keeping his knee from falling in. Still looks pretty good to me for sure. But that's good, you can stop. So what we might see is, that knee falling in more. The goalie rocks forward to get out of the bottom. Could you just show like how some people rock forward to get out of the bottom? So they come down. Yeah, and then they let their bum come up first. So those are the kinds of things we'd be looking for. Okay, you have two very strong sides. Yeah, I don't see a weak side in there. Number 3 is you have to stop being vulnerable coming out of your butterfly. Here's what I mean. A lot of you, and you don't realize you do it, so videotape yourself so you can see. You'll be like, oh, she's right, I do that. A lot of you, as you come up, you'll drop your chest a little bit as you bring your skate up to recover out of the butterfly. So you might even be here, really good tall position over the puck, and then you're going to drop down as you come out. And that makes you vulnerable. You're not as big as you could be, and you're also, a lot of times, it sort of turns you into this position when, really, if I'm pushing off this leg, I want to go that way, or even if I'm standing up, I don't want to be hunched over. You're going to do that for one of two reasons. One reason is that you're weak in your legs. The second reason is that you're weak in your core. And here's what I mean by that. If I'm weak in my leg, I have to kind of get my weight over that foot so that I can almost bring my hips up first and then stand out of it, because I don't have the strength to just pull myself out. So as I bring my weight over top, it actually almost rolls my hips up and then I can come out the rest of the way. I'm exaggerating it so that you can see my point. But that's a part of it. So we need to work on leg strength to overcome that. So a drill I really like for cleaning up that pattern is just here. And we're going to be over our leg, but we're not going to be folded over our leg. And then I'm just trying to come out in this bottom up single leg squat pattern. And I'm trying to do it slowly, but over about a count of 4. So I get over that leg. I try to pick up my back leg and come up nice and slow. That's going to help you build that strength you need so that you can just pop right out of your butterfly, either into a push or just recovering back to both your skates. Now, the other point was either you're weak in your leg or you're weak in your core, which you might think, well, that's kind of weird. What do you mean by that? What I mean by that is that my abdominal muscles sort of go, let's say, from the bottom of my rib cage to my pelvis. So they help hold me in a neutral pelvis position. What a lot of you want to do is get here into an anterior pelvic tilt. So I'm not using my abdominals to stay strong and stable here. I'm letting it go, and I'm letting my pelvis tilt this way. When I let my pelvis tilt this way, it closes down the front of my hip, and then I just don't have room to recover that foot underneath me. Basically my thigh bone is bumping into the front of my hip socket, and it just won't go. So you need to work on, this is when I talk about neutral pelvis, when I talk about Carey Price and how stable and fluid and calm he looks, because he keeps a really nice neutral pelvis. So you want to keep that strong abdominals so they hold your pelvis neutral, and then you've got lots of room to recover that skate and go wherever you're trying to go. The other reason you want to keep that neutral pelvis so that you're not sort of smashing your thigh bone against the front rim of your pelvis or of your hip joint is because that's sort of how FAI develops. So it's almost a bony callus, and over time, if you keep smashing that thigh bone into the front of the hip joint, it's going to develop more and more of a bony callus. It's going to make less and less room for your hip joint to move. You're going to notice, geez, I seem to be losing range of motion, and you might start getting some pain, and that's a problem that's going to persist. So not only does it make you less vulnerable coming out of the butterfly, it also helps safeguard and protect your hips so you can have a long, healthy career. So there's a way you can be a better goalie just by stopping these 3 habits. I've given you 3 good strategies and some exercises you can use that will help with that. If that all just like, oh, it just seems like a lot of work, and really I just want the simplest thing, probably that would be getting a wider butterfly flare. So, if you think of the diameter of a puck, even if I just increase my butterfly flare by like 1.5 inches, it's enough to keep some of those pucks from squeaking in past your toe. That's so frustrating. Not speaking from experience or anything. But that would be then probably get the Butterfly Challenge, which is a free program. You can download it. It's actually also on the iPhone, the Android. It's an app as well, or if you want the PDF, I'll put a link in the first comment. You can go there and go nuts on that. If you have any other bad habits you want to correct, or any other bad habits you see other goalies doing on the ice, post those in the comments too, and we'll help come up with some solutions to those problems. I answer each and every single question. If you like this video, give it a burn. Don't forget to subscribe so you get the videos before your goalie partner does. And that's all I got for you today. I will see you next time.